We're involved in NASCAR in a big way. It's another mode of transportation, and running is just another mode of transportation. So we're covering all the bases with modes of transportation.
Welcome, everyone, to the Driving Vision podcast brought to you by the Zeigler Auto Group. I'm your host, Sam Dark, and here with me, Auto Group Director of Talent Development, Mike Van Ryn. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thanks, Sam.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, like it if you do, and leave a comment. Mike, we're trending on Apple Podcasts, if you can believe it, with listeners in the United Kingdom, India, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Canada, Germany, of course, the United States. And get this, we have an audience in Russia. Well, to you all, we say welcome and thank you for joining us today. Zeigler-sponsored NASCAR race car driver Josh Bilicki joins the Driving Vision podcast today to discuss his upcoming Xfinity race this Saturday at Daytona, Florida. Today, Josh shares his thoughts on that day, how he's preparing, and what this week's co-sponsor to Zeigler Auto Group means to Josh and to the racing world. But first, vision can truly change the world. Nowhere is that more important than impacting the health of a company, a community, a city, and an entire state. The Zeigler Auto Group recently announced its sponsorship of the Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon in 2022. Let's turn now to ZAG President and CEO Aaron Zeigler for more info on that sponsorship and what it means to him personally and the larger community the Zeigler Auto Group serves. Today, we have President and CEO of the Zeigler Automotive Group, Aaron Zeigler. Aaron, welcome.
Thanks, Sam, for having me.
And we also have Chris Lampen-Crowell, co-owner of Gazelle Sports. Chris, welcome.
Hi, thanks.
So, Chris, we're here to talk about the Kalamazoo Marathon, which this year in 2022 will be known as the Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon. And you have a long-standing, long-running affiliation. The first question we always ask as part of this podcast is, what is your vision of the marathon?
The vision for this event is really to build a healthy culture in Kalamazoo for everybody. It really is an event that celebrates coming together and moving and creating fitness opportunities, not just for that day or that weekend, but actually leading up to it and then continuing for the rest of the year. This is an essential part of really building a healthy community. And so we really have this vision of this logistic excellence with an incredible experience when you come and participate or volunteer or sponsor or any part of this marathon. The essence of this event is really about community health.
So that's a great vision. And what is it about the past couple of years that has really accentuated the need for health, both at an employee level, but at a community level? It is so important right now, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I personally heavily invested in this personally because I ran here locally, competitively at high school and then college at Western Michigan University. But then I've been able to, have a career that is really rooted around running, walking, fitness. So I see this every day that as people build, and they can really transform their lives around active, healthy living because they change their peers, they change their sense of who they are, their own sense of self. And that's not just physical health, that's mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. And the times right now are so important to get outside and to refocus on, I know I can control this part of my life. There's a lot of uncertainty out there in the world, but this is something that we can all take our own responsibility for, connect with each other, our families, our friends, and support each other to be healthy.
Yeah. So, Chris, it's interesting. The Zeigler Automotive Group, it makes it a good partnership. We'll get to the partnership in just a moment. But Aaron Zeigler, you committed as part of the Zeigler Auto Group to bring a health program through Athletic Mentors within the group here a year ago. What prompted you to do that at that time? And why is health of your employees so important to you?
Anything that we can do to add value or better our employees' lives, I'm all in on. And being able to have access to athletic mentors and their coaches, and it doesn't matter, what level you are. If you've never worked out in your life or you're a world-class athlete, athletic mentors could help out. And, they've helped me out a lot in my life. And Mark Olson, their owner, is one of the smartest people I've ever met. I wanted to give our 2,700 employees access to what I had access to. When Chris came to me a few weeks ago and they had lost their presenting sponsor that had been sponsoring the race for the last 15 years or so and was in a bit of a panic, I said, you know what, this fits in well with what we're doing and it's really good for the community. And we want to be able to get our employees involved as well. And I've run in this race before. I've run the marathon, but it's a lot more than just a marathon. There's also a half a marathon and a 10K race and a 5K race and a 5K walk. So you can kind of, pick your poison. Anybody can get involved in this, and it's a great way with their run camps to be able to meet other people and connect with the community and get a little healthier as well. And, when you're healthier, you live longer and have a better quality life.
So, Chris, the future of the marathon was in doubt. You have a long-time affiliation, and you came to Aaron Zeigler to bring the Zeigler Automotive Group on as the key sponsor for the event. What does it mean to you to have received Aaron's endorsement and the sponsorship dollars from the Zeigler Automotive Group?
Number one, I totally respect Aaron and the Zeigler Auto Group for not just this commitment to the community, but the intensive, deep-rooted commitment to Kalamazoo and West Michigan. It's just amazing. It wasn't a surprise, but it was also a emotional lift for me personally when Aaron called me and said yes. I really am so grateful for Aaron's commitment to this event, because before I decided that we could help transition this event, I went to a number of people that weren't runners and I said, is the Kalamazoo Marathon, half marathon, is this an important event to Kalamazoo, or do I just live in a bubble, which I do. But they all said,
we all do.
Yeah, they all said this was so important to Kalamazoo, whether they were a runner or not.
So let's set the stage for what this is, Chris. So this year, the distances that we'll have as part of the Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon are a half marathon, right? A 5K and a 1 miler. Is that right?
Yeah. So I'll give you the dates and what's going on. So April 22nd, there will be a kids 1K.
Yep.
And it's at Mayor's Riverfront Park, and it'll be just fun. Parents can run with their kids. It's a fun way for kids under 12. And we have all the way down to, 1 and 2 year olds that start doing this little 1K. So that will happen on Friday.
And it's a safe event. It's a protected area. And so it's a great place to bring your kids and encourage them to prepare for it, but also show up and participate, Chris. Yes.
That's right. That's Friday, April 22nd. April 23rd. Will be an expo in downtown, really focused around not only the sponsors, but some other people like athletic mentors will be there with their coaches. And so there's going to be some really great information for runners, walkers, fitness people around. And it'll be very experiential. That's on Saturday. Okay. Then Sunday is the event, the races, and it will be the half marathon will start off, and then it'll go the 10K, and then a 5K run and a 5K walk. Like Aaron said, there's multiple ways that you can choose wherever you're at. It can be the first time you've ever done an event, or you can be, hey, I've done, 40 of these things and I'm ready to do the next one. So we're happy to have everybody involved. The other great thing about it is we're moving downtown Kalamazoo, so we'll start and finish in downtown and have this Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon energy around it.
So worst case scenario, Chris, I can come show up and cheer on runners, right? Best case scenario, I can find a distance that's comfortable for me to participate. So in a lot of marathons, half marathons, 5Ks, there's support stations along the way that create an exciting opportunity for runners to engage with the public, but then also have an interesting experience. I'm aware of one where bacon will actually be offered. Tell us a little bit about the bacon station as part of the Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon.
Yeah, this is something that came about in the first Kalamazoo Marathon, and there was the marathon ran through Winchell neighborhood, and there was a block along the neighborhood, and they decided what they were going to do is not just offer people water or sports drinks. They were going to create bacon and offer it for runners along the way. So the bacon station was born, and it's coming back here this year as we will be running in the Winchell neighborhood.
So this year, if you're a participant and or a spectator, watch for the bacon station, high five those people, and see what it's like to take bacon as you're running. So Chris and Aaron, you've run many marathons, right? So tell us some of the marathon experiences you've had and why you've chosen to participate in those events over the years.
I was never a runner, and a coworker ran the Chicago Marathon. I just thought that was an amazing amazing accomplishment for him and a very difficult task. And he said, you could probably do it. At the time, I didn't even run. So he put me on a running schedule, and 7 months later, I ran the Chicago Marathon. One of the most painful things I've ever done, said I'd never do it again.
Wow.
After about a week, the pain wore off. I started running. So I ended up doing 10 marathons, course of my marathon career, including Kalamazoo. And it's just really a euphoric experience in running. It's something that, like I said, at first I didn't really enjoy. And then as you get doing it more, you really learn to like it and enjoy it and love it. And there's just so much excitement around the races. And it's so much fun to show up on a Sunday morning with 9 or 10,000 other people. And it doesn't matter if you're running a marathon or the 1 mile race or the 5K. It's a lot of fun. And my kids got into it. And my daughter, when she was 12 years old and 13 years old, won the 5K back to back. It's kind of been a family affair. My wife's running it and my son's run. So we're going to have a bunch of runners this year as well. And it's just a great community event. And like I said, you connect with a lot of people and it's a lot of fun.
So Aaron, let's say I am not a runner. I've never run. But I'm listening to this and I want to get involved. I want to be a participant downtown Kalamazoo. I want to come out with the rest of Kalamazoo to participate in this event. How do I start? That first marathon you ran, how did you begin?
There's a lot of information actually on the internet, running schedules and how to do that. And you don't want to, you start out, I think my first run was a mile and, you kind of build up over time, but there'll be a lot of information on the website and, getting with Chris and the run camps is a great way to get involved. We've had a number of our employees that have never run before and got the run camps and now they're running half marathons and marathons. It's crazy. Being involved with athletic mentors, they can help put together for all of our employees schedules as well. And they've got coaches that'll help you, accomplish whatever you want to do.
Chris, what are some run groups that are available as a resource to prepare for this in the Kalamazoo area?
Yeah, so there's the Kalamazoo area runners. They have a group that runs and trains multiple distances. They call themselves the Beyond group. And then there's Run Kalamazoo, which is a new 501c3 that is really taking the historical part of the run camp that happened for this event and now reemerging again after 2 years of not having it. And they start actually in February here, and they have trainings for 5K, 10K, and half marathon.
Where do I go for that information, Chris, if I want to join that group?
Thank you. Yeah, it's just runkalamazoo.org. Runkalamazoo.org.
Awesome. Well, Chris, the race and the events are downtown Kalamazoo. There has to be an economic benefit to the city. Not only just, as Aaron said, that feel of getting together and enjoying an event together in a community. Do you have any judge or gauge of the economic benefit to Kalamazoo downtown in particular?
Yeah, actually, Discover Kalamazoo is one of our sponsors, and they have done some studies in previous, 2018, 2019, and it's over $500,000 of economic energy that happens in Kalamazoo that weekend because of the event. So it is valuable for the small businesses that are downtown, but also the hotels and the restaurants will have some great benefits because of this event in downtown Kalamazoo. And hopefully we sell some cars. Come on, let's be thinking about that.
So Aaron, a signature mark of the Zeigler Auto Group has become over this past year the Zeigler hot air balloon. And in fact, we have a world-class pilot who's a sales manager at our store in Granville that pilots that. Is there any chance during the marathon events that we might see the balloon?
Well, we'll have to get with Derek on that, but that's a very cool idea. And I was just thinking, we're involved in hot air balloons, which is a mode of transportation. We're involved in NASCAR in a big way. It's another mode of transportation, and running is just another mode of transportation. So we're covering all the bases with modes of transportation and what we're involved in as an organization.
Well, so to everyone listening, if you happen to be participating in the event, if you prepare and you run and you look up and you see the Zeigler hot air balloon, know that you're in the right place, or at least you're in the vicinity. Go towards the balloon. Go towards the balloon. So, Aaron, thank you so much for providing the resources on behalf of the Zeigler Automotive Group to sponsor the Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon, for continuing this great tradition. Chris, thanks for your work in making sure that it continues. What a great event that benefits the community. Chris, any last words, and then Aaron?
Yeah, I just want to say that we talked about these distances. It's called the Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon. The marathon will reappear in 2023. We just don't have the time to put that together for 2022, but we knew we had to have an event. So you can be thinking about right now in 2023 you will be part of the Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon, which is 26.2 miles.
Yep, which, by the way, is a great reason to show up. Let's show up in mass. Let's bring more runners than have ever participated in the Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon before and send the distinct message that health matters, that community matters, that participating in an event like this together matters, that being together matters. Aaron, thank you.
Thanks, Sam. And the date of the event this year is going to be April 24th in downtown Kalamazoo. So we look forward to seeing everybody there.
Hey, so Chris, where can I go to register for the marathon?
You can go today to ZeiglerKalamazooMarathon.com. That's ZeiglerKalamazooMarathon.com.
Excellent. Well, Chris and Aaron, thank you for your participation today, and let's go run a race.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Sam.
Hey, everybody. Today, a special edition of the Driving Vision at Zeigler podcast. So today with us is NASCAR race car driver Josh Bilicki. Josh, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, Sam. I appreciate it.
Josh, it's an exciting day, and I'm excited to have you on this week because you have a big event coming up this weekend. Tell us a little bit about the event.
Yeah, it's race week. It's Daytona race week, our first race of the season. It's always exciting to start the season at Daytona. Daytona is our Super Bowl of our sport. So our sport's unique. We start with our biggest race of the season. So there's 3 NASCAR series. There's the NASCAR Truck Series. That's a Friday race. There's the NASCAR Xfinity Series. That's a Saturday race. And then there's the NASCAR Cup Series, which is the Sunday race. The Sunday race is the Daytona 500. That's the big race. I'll be racing Saturday this year. Last year I raced the Daytona 500. This year it just didn't work out, but this year I'll be racing Saturday. It's still the biggest race of the year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. But just to start the season at Daytona is important whether you're driving any of the 3 series. So yeah, it's race week. I've been waiting for this for a while. Zeigler's on the hood of our car. It looks awesome. So I can't wait to be on track on Friday.
Dude, I'm excited for you. I feel the excitement of being at that place. Tell us a little bit about the forum that is Daytona. It's an enormous racetrack, is it not?
It is. So it's the second largest track we go to, right behind Talladega. It's 2.5 miles. So Daytona's unique. It's all about the draft. It's all about the engine you have. It's all about the draft. If you stay in the draft, if you keep your car clean at the end, you can come away with a really good finish, which we did last year in the NASCAR Cup Series, a top 10 at Daytona. So that was huge for us. Yeah, Daytona, like I said, it's our Super Bowl of NASCAR. So to start with Daytona, it's really unique. But the track itself creates exciting racing, for one, because it's a drafting track. So you'll see cars 3 and 4 wide at times. I mean, wow. Inches apart at 190, 195 miles per hour. All it takes is one small movement to make a mistake, and one guy kind of misjudges a run, and before you know it, you have 10 or 15 cars in a wreck. So it's definitely a unique track. You see cars a lot closer than normal because it is so big. It doesn't require any braking. You're full throttle most of the time. So it's definitely unique, a little bit different from some of the other tracks we go to. But that's what makes viewers love it. I mean, it's always one of our most watched races of the season because our viewers love the super speedway type racing.
So a couple weeks ago, NASCAR hit the news because you were at the Coliseum, right? And that's an attendance at well under 100,000. Daytona is different than that. You're well over 100,000 in the stands, right?
Yeah.
Maybe almost 200,000, do you know?
That's in the stands. In the stands, I believe it's around 110,000, and then you got the whole infield too. And this year, the Daytona 500 is sold out. So that's great for our sport. Last year was my first Daytona 500, and unfortunately, we were still kind of under COVID rules, so I think it was like 50% capacity. We didn't have any pit passes, so my family couldn't be with me on pit road. So this year, it'll be a little bit different. I'll be there on Sunday cheering on the 77 car. So it's exciting to know that our sport's headed back in the right direction, trending really well for views. And yeah, there's no doubt in my mind it'll have a good season.
Josh, what's it like for you as a race car driver walking into an arena and a forum with somewhere between 100,000 and 200,000 fans losing their mind to watch you race?
It's exciting for sure. It creates a lot of excitement for us drivers, and it puts us on the spot to perform. It really does. Honestly, though, when you put the helmet on, you kind of forget about all the fans.
You don't hear much, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the most questions I've gotten was when we started racing during the COVID time, there were a lot of races we ran in 2020 with no fans. And everybody asked, how was it? Well, walking into the stadiums and the racetracks and just driving in, not seeing any campers or any fans in the stands, that was really weird. When you put the helmet on, you don't even realize they're there. So, yeah. You know, there's probably 1 or 2 tracks that you do realize that there's fans or no fans while you're driving. And one of those is Bristol. Bristol's a big coliseum. I mean, it really is a coliseum, grandstands all the way around. It's also a half-mile track, so that's why they can do that. But a track like Daytona, like I said, when you're behind the wheel, you're so focused on driving and racing and the cars around you. You're not looking up in the stands. You're not looking at the signs that say, "Go Josh, go Team Zeigler."
Yeah. Well, we will definitely be for you. The entire Team Zeigler will be there for you. And you've got a massive following on social media that's excited to see you race on Saturday. So walk us through what this week looks like for you. When do you arrive at Daytona, and kind of what's your thought process? How do you get yourself into that mindset to win?
Yeah, so the NASCAR Xfinity Series races on Saturday. We're on track on Friday for practice. So it's Monday right now. You actually have some sponsor requests this morning with you, and then actually a meeting this afternoon. Tuesday, actually, I'll be doing some simulator time on my simulator, run some simulator. Just basically, I'm online trying to get prepared for racing. Since we only have one practice session this year, I think it's important to jump on the simulator and just kind of pick up my reference points and refresh me in my memory. Luckily for me, I was able to drive a Daytona just last month in a NASCAR Cup Series car. So okay. I've probably, out of all the NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers, I probably have been on the track the most recent, so that definitely helps.
Nice.
Wednesday, actually, just more meetings. I mean, this is such a busy time of the season. Yeah. Thursday, though, we fly out to Daytona. Thursday night, we have a photo shoot with Getty Images, so that'll be in the full Zeigler suit, so I'm looking forward to that. Friday, we're on track. So Friday, we have one practice, so we'll head to the track early. Make sure the team is ready to go. Make sure the team's comfortable with everything they need from me. Do practice. You know, we're actually gonna have 3 teammates there, so all 4 of us will be in the conference room in the haulers, just kind of coming up with a game plan. The series is super competitive, so there's a lot that we can learn in that short practice session as far as what our cars drive like, what we need from our cars, what can we make adjustments for that will help us in the race, and also qualifying too. You know, qualifying at Daytona is Saturday morning. It's a single car qualifying, so it's just one lap, you go out. Daytona is unique because it is such a long track that it doesn't require any off-throttle time in qualifying. You were wide open. It's relatively easy, to be honest, qualifying there by yourself. So you go out there and you want as least drag as you can, as least, like you want the car to turn as best as you can so you're not binding the car up. You want to go basically as fast as you can. And that's all just kind of car setup. So Friday, we'll probably do some single car runs as well as some drafting runs, but we got to find a good balance so we qualify well, but the car also races well. You can make a car qualify really, really good because it's fast by itself, but then in a pack, it might be awful to drive. So you got to find that balance. You know, you don't want to qualify top 10, but then have a car that runs 40th in the race. So that's kind of what practice is for, set up. And then Saturday, we qualify. Sunday night is the race, so that's 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'm sure there'll be a lot of nerve, a lot of excitement leading up to the race. But the team I'm driving for has had some really good finishes in the past, some strong finishes. So our goal is to go out there and place all 4 of our cars in the top 10. You know, I think if we have 4 cars in the top 10, there's a very good chance that we could win the race. And Daytona is a track that you could see an underdog win the race. So we're looking forward to that.
That's awesome. So on Saturday, as part of the Xfinity Series, as you're racing, your goal is top 10 finish. What will you do? What does Josh Bilicki do if he wins the Xfinity Series or as you win one of these races this year? How do you finish? What's your signature mark driving a Zeigler car?
For sure, donuts. And get out and thank Team Zeigler. Honestly, I wouldn't be in the car without Team Zeigler. To be honest, I've never been in the position I am this year where I've been in cars where I feel capable of winning. So it's going to be new to me. You know, I'm going to get out and do the interview and probably be a little bit lost. You might see some tears in my eyes if I win a NASCAR race. I mean, that is my goal. That's my goal in life, to win a NASCAR race and to start winning races. And, you know, this year I definitely feel like we're stepping in the right direction. You know, still driving for smaller teams, but teams that are more capable than where I was the last couple of years. So, you know, that wouldn't be possible without you guys. So definitely be thanking you guys, but I would find a way to do some cool donuts and something unique.
You've got a great opportunity this year to really go far. And in fact, you did a test run recently where you ranked fairly high. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was at Daytona in the NASCAR Cup Series. The NASCAR Cup Series, which I'll be doing the majority of my races this year, the Sunday races, we had a test at Daytona. Now, NASCAR is very strict with their testing policy. The only time you can drive a NASCAR official race car is during a NASCAR official test. So they had one at Daytona. My Cup Series team, which is Spire Motorsports, invited me out to drive my teammate's car, the number 7, basically identical to what I'm driving this year. So I got some seat time in that. My first ever official NASCAR test. So it was really cool to get some seat time before the start of the season at Daytona. But yeah, we were able to do some drafting with some teams that have won races last year. I mean, Hendrick Motorsports, I think we ended the test in like top 10. So for us, that was really encouraging for us. Even though I'm not going to be driving in the Cup Series at Daytona, my first race in the Cup Series is the second race of the year. So it's under 2 weeks from right now. So that's coming up really fast.
So take us there. Where's your first NASCAR race?
NASCAR Cup Series race is in Auto Club, and that's with Pacific Coast Termite as a sponsor. Following weekend after that is Las Vegas, and that is Team Zeigler's first race. So the first time that you guys will see the fully branded Team Zeigler car is at Las Vegas. So I'm excited for that. That date is Sunday, March 6th.
Awesome. Well, we absolutely look forward to it, Josh. We wish you all the best this Saturday in your first race at Daytona Raceway, right?
Yes.
And we're excited to see how you do. And there will be a race, we predict, on Driving Vision at Zeigler Podcast where you get to do those donuts as you take home a trophy this year as part of the NASCAR series.
I think there is. I mean, with my Cup Series team this year, Spire Motorsports, we have everything in line from good engines. We have a really good crew. I mean, half of success is the people you have behind you. And this year with Spire Motorsports, I mean, I spent the day last Friday with the team, and we had a team lunch and just kind of a team powwow before the start of the season. And it's the first time I've ever been a part of an organization that has done anything like that. But just to see the mentality of everybody that was there and how hard they work, it was really encouraging for me, and all the energy, all the positive energy they had was definitely really encouraging. So yeah, I definitely feel that there's a lot of tracks this year on my schedule with Tim Zeigler on the car that we could go out there and score an upset win.
Hey, Josh, just as we conclude, tell us, there's a name on the back of your car coming into Saturday. What's that name, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so that's the Tony Elliott Foundation. So this weekend at Daytona, this is going to be the only race this year that the Team Zeigler car is actually being shared with another primary sponsor, and it's Elliott's Custom Carts and Trailers. They're based out of Indiana. On the back of our car is the Tony Elliott Foundation. So Tony Elliott actually founded the company. He was a very successful race car driver himself. He didn't make a career racing, so he started Elliott's Custom Carts and Trailers. He unfortunately passed away, and to continue his legacy, his wife, Cindy, who still runs a business, started the Tony Elliott Foundation. So they give back to worthy recipients in motorsports and really anybody in need. So they definitely take care of people who take care of them, and I think that's very important.
Josh, what does that mean to you to be able to have the name of someone on the car whose life, love, or passion was racing as you're doing, and you're really living out what they aspired to do? What does that mean to you to have that name on the car Saturday?
Puts a little bit more pressure on me to perform. Honestly, it does. But also I want to go out there and respect the name. Hopefully nobody comes out there and gives me a big boost in the back if we want to keep that logo clean after the race. But yeah, it's just definitely a blessing to have them on the car and have Team Zeigler on the hood.
Yeah, well, Josh, here's to donuts on Saturday. We look forward to watching you race, and have a huge week.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike Van Ryn, Josh Bilicki, Chris Lampen-Crowell, and Aaron Zeigler for contributing to this week's podcast. Register today for the Zeigler Kalamazoo Marathon. Tune in this weekend to see Josh Bilicki race. I'll actually be there live with the Driving Vision podcast. And until next week, how are you driving vision today?